Welcome, everyone. My name is Katie, and I will be your moderator tonight. Tonight, we're joined by Brittany Searles, Sales Coordinator at Unitas PPO Solutions. Brittany has personally negotiated and optimized PPO reimbursements for hundreds of practices nationwide, so we're super excited to have her tonight. And we'd love for this to be an engaging conversation. So if you have a question, please type it into the Q&A box and we will answer it via email as soon as possible. And CE is not available for this webinar live or on demand. So Brittany, welcome and thank you so much for being with us, and I'll pass it over to you now.
Thank you, Katie. I'm so glad to be here. Today, we're going to be discussing how to supercharge your PPO reimbursements, the insider secrets revealed that we use here at Unitas for our clients. My name is Brittany. Like Katie said, I am a sales coordinator here at Unitas Dental. My contact information is here on this slide. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call directly, or you can email me as well. If you want to jot down that information here, I'd be happy to chat with you guys about your practice and how to increase your PPO reimbursements. Now, jumping in, let's go ahead and discuss a little bit about us here at Unitas Dental. We have been in business since 2011. We have been negotiating, optimizing, and credentialing dental practices with PPOs, and we have worked with thousands of practices across the United States. We currently do represent over 2,000 dental practices, and we are based out of Mesa, Arizona. We do have a team of over 100 PPO insurance experts that this is all we do. Like I said, we negotiate PPO reimbursements, optimize your participation, and get you in network with these PPOs the best way possible. Now, what we're going to discuss this evening is the key strategies to increasing your PPO reimbursements. So the first step here is understanding your PPO participation and your current reimbursements, the top PPO negotiation tactics that we use here at Unitas, and how to maximize your negotiation opportunities. Now, here is a quick link if you guys wanted to download a step-by-step breakdown of the exact PPO framework that we use here at Unitas. Instead of taking lots and lots of notes over the next half an hour, you can download our breakdown here at www.ppoguide.com. You just enter your name and email address and you can download the workbook, and you can see the slides here and make notes on that to just make this go a little bit easier. So again, that website is www.ppoguide.com, and it'll just kind of save you from taking as many notes during the webinar here this evening. So first off, what we're going to discuss today is going to be increasing your PPO reimbursements. So the first step here is going to be understanding your current PPO participation and the reimbursements that you're getting from those PPO contracts now. So understanding your PPO participation is extremely important to know what your next steps are in terms of increasing your reimbursement rates. So the first thing we need to do is discover and map out your current PPO participation. We need to discuss receiving and documenting your actual fee schedule reimbursements. And then we need to talk about comparing and repairing your UCR versus PPO reimbursement discrepancies. So the thing we need to discuss is discovering and mapping out your PPO participation. Now, going in network with these PPOs is not as straightforward as it used to be. So there are different ways that you can be considered in network with these PPOs. We, of course, have our direct contracts. We also have PPO to PPO leasing relationships. And then we have our umbrella networking relationships. So in order to figure out how each provider at each location is participating with these PPOs, we need to do a couple of things. We first need to reach out to each PPO and figure out exactly how each provider is participating. So we need to call provider relations in order to confirm this information. Now, we are going to be providing you with a contact list of provider relations phone numbers at the end of this webinar to make this process go smoother for you guys. We're going to be using a spreadsheet to collect this information and focus on those major PPOs that you see in the practice daily. And we need to confirm how each provider is participating with each PPO and figure out your effective dates and your fee schedules need to be collected as well. So here's that first type of PPO participation. It's going to be your direct contracts. Now, this is extremely straightforward. You submit a credentialing application to a PPO. So in turn, you know you're going to be in network with that specific carrier and following that PPO's fee schedule when you treat those patients in the practice. Now, 10 years ago, when you were going in network with a PPO, this was really the only way that you could do so was through that direct contract. So it made it really easy to know what those reimbursements were for those specific PPO patients. But things have gotten a little bit more intertwined and connected over, the past 10 years, and it's really drastically changed how you're being reimbursed by your PPOs. So the second way that you can be considered an in-network provider would be through what we would consider a PPO to PPO leasing relationship. PPOs these days are now leasing their patients to other PPOs. So, for example, you can have a direct contract with a PPO, such as Aetna, for example. So, you have an Aetna fee schedule that's attached to your Aetna patients. But Aetna can have a networking relationship with a few other PPOs, like Principal, for instance. So you can be in network with Principal patients contracted through Aetna, and your Aetna fee schedule can be attached to not only your Aetna patients, but also your Principal patients. So it's another way that you're able to access your Principal patients would be through this Aetna PPO to PPO leasing relationship. Now, there's also a third way that we can be considered in network with these PPOs, and that's through what we would call an umbrella network or a third party administrator relationship. So, this is going to be like Carrington, Connection Dental, Dentamax. Now, when you contract with one of these umbrella networks, like Dentamax, for instance, you're saying, okay, I like that Dentamax fee schedule. I'm going to be considered an in network provider, but I'm also able to be in network with the PPOs that are funneling through that Dentamax relationship. So you're able to access all of these PPOs through Dentamax, and your Dentamax fee schedule is going to be attached to each one of these PPOs as well. So each of those PPO participation types is absolutely fine, but typically the way that you're participating based on these networking relationships, you're not maximizing your reimbursement rates per PPO patient. So your participation with each one of these carriers ends up looking like this giant spider web where you have multiple avenues of participation available for the same PPO. And when that situation occurs, the PPO themselves gets to choose which fee schedule they're going to pay you on, and they're going to default to the lowest reimbursing fee schedule available. So we do need to know exactly where you're starting with each one of these PPOs so that we know what needs to happen in order to negotiate your reimbursement rates or optimize how you're participating with each one of the PPOs that you're currently in network with. So we need to reach out to each PPO, figure out exactly how each provider is participating with the PPOs in your practice. We can check your portal or email these carriers as well to collect your current fee schedules. So we need to gather your fee schedules directly from the PPOs and then make sure that you are updating your Dentrix or your specific practice management software with those current fee schedules from the PPOs. Now, when we're discussing comparing and repairing your UCRs versus your PPO reimbursement discrepancies, What we need to look at is entering your current fee schedules into a spreadsheet to compare your top 20 to 35 UCRs to your current PPO reimbursements. Now, we do need to raise our UCRs where necessary. None of your UCRs should be below your highest reimbursing PPO fee schedule. We can utilize a percentile-based analysis tool to also ensure that your UCRs are competitive for your area and above your highest reimbursing PPO fee schedule. Now, high reimbursements are directly correlated to your high UCR rate. So you do want to make sure that your UCRs are higher than each one of your PPO reimbursement that are coming in currently. Now, again, if you want to go to download our step-by-step breakdown of this exact PPO negotiation framework, please go to www.ppoguide.com. This will give you that step-by-step breakdown so that you're not having to take as many notes during this webinar here with us this evening. Now, the next thing we need to do is look at increasing your PPO reimbursements. So number one, we've reached out to all of the PPOs. We've figured out how each one of your providers is currently participating with each PPO. Are they in a direct contract with that carrier, in a PPO to PPO leasing relationship, or are they in network through an umbrella network or third-party administrator like Carrington, Dynamax, Connection Dental, one of those relationships? So now we know your current reimbursement rates for those PPOs, as well as how each provider is participating. Now we're jumping into our top PPO negotiation tactics with these PPOs. So we need to make sure that we are not wasting time on the wrong procedures. We are approaching the PPO negotiation process correctly, and we're comparing the offers received from these PPOs to your other potential avenue of PPO participation. So we need to ensure that we're not wasting time on those wrong CDT codes that your guys are billing out in the office. So the first thing we need to do is export an annual production summary right from your practice management software to ensure this report is listed by procedure code, quantity, and annual production, so that we are looking at your practice's top used codes when we're looking at which PPO fee schedules are going to be the most beneficial for your practice. We want to sort these procedures in a spreadsheet by the highest grossing production to determine your top 20 to 35 procedures. Now, in a typical office, your top 20 to 35 procedures is going to do between 80 and 90% of your office's production. So that is where we want to put our emphasis in those negotiations with the PPOs. And we need to use these procedures in step 2 and also when comparing the PPO fee schedule offers to, again, make sure that you are maximizing those reimbursements when we're looking at either negotiating those direct contracts or optimizing how you participate with these PPOs. So when we're approaching the PPO negotiation process, we need to reach out to provider relations and request a fee schedule increase directly from that PPO. Now, in this situation, we need to pay attention to your current PPO participation and any leasing arrangements that you guys already have in place. So when you're asking for increases on the fee schedule for the main carrier. So for example, if you're in network with Guardian, but paid under the Aetna's contracted fee, you need to negotiate with Aetna in order to actually increase those Guardian reimbursements. So that's why it is extremely important that we know exactly how you are participating with these PPOs to know who that main payer is for each one of your PPO contracts. Now we need to start comparing our offers received from these PPOs. So again, using the previous steps, we need to identify those top 20 to 35 procedures that have the highest quantity and production revenue for your practice specifically. It's not going to be the same for every office, depending on which codes you are submitting the most to each PPO. So in a spreadsheet, you need to compare your current fee schedule reimbursements with the new schedule across your top 20 to 35 codes. We also need to pay attention to the annual frequency of each procedure when evaluating these offers. Some fee schedules may increase and decrease specific procedure codes depending on the formula that they use for negotiating your reimbursement rates. So if a $100 procedure increase may be outweighed by a $5 procedure decrease, depending on the procedure's frequency and your practice specifically. Now, once we've gotten those new fee schedules into effect, we do need to audit your EOBs after you are starting to accept that new fee schedule. So once that effective date has occurred, to ensure that you are being paid on the correct PPO reimbursements. So most fee schedule increases can take 30 to 90 days or more to go into effect. So just keep track of that effective date and make sure that you are evaluating your EOBs once that effective date has come into place and that new fee schedule has been implemented by the PPO themselves. Now, I'm going to plug this again. If you guys want to go back and download that step-by-step breakdown of the exact PPO negotiation framework that Unitas uses for our clients here, please go to www.ppoguide.com, download the PDF version. You can print it directly from your printer at the office and make notes on there as we're going through this webinar as well. So now we need to look at how to maximize your negotiation opportunities. So it's not always just negotiating directly with the PPOs, it's also evaluating how you guys are participating with these PPOs to make sure that you are receiving the highest reimbursement possible for each one of these PPOs that you're accepting in the practice. So the first thing we need to do is ensure those PPO fees are competitive for your area, minimize optimization risks, and maximize the benefit. And we need to look at how to calculate your return on your investment from your PPO negotiations. So when we're ensuring that your PPO offers are competitive for your area, we need to make sure that we are not getting locked in to a low fee schedule. Most new fee schedules will be locked in for a minimum of 2 years. That doesn't mean you can't terminate your contract. It just means that you're not going to be eligible for direct negotiations for at least 24 months from the effective date of that fee schedule. So Unitas has the data to compare your offers and determine how competitive they are for your area and know if we need to go back and say, I think there's room for more of an increase here. Unitas also has high level or dedicated insurance contacts that many practices don't have access to that worked with our clients specifically. We can negotiate on your behalf. Unitas has negotiated on behalf of thousands of practices across the United States. We also have a highly trained team with years of experience and a proven track record of PPO and optimization success. We do this on such a large scale. We do know how these situations work, how these networking relationships work with each PPO, and how we can minimize those risks for your practice moving forward. Now, based on your current PPO participation, Unitas can also identify other arrangements that may be more profitable than negotiations alone. And that's where those networking relationships are going to come into play and be beneficial for your practice. Many PPOs have multiple paths of participation. Unitas has helped thousands of practices to optimize their PPO participation, leading to higher reimbursement rates. We also understand how to shift your participation, the risks involved, and the timelines for those shifts in participation. So we're able to give you all of that information upfront so you know what to expect when we're looking at optimizing your PPO participation. How these opportunities work in terms of optimizing your participation, like we discussed before, you can have a direct contract with a PPO such as Aetna, but Aetna can have networking relationships with a few other PPOs. So in this case, you're able to pick up your principal patients through Aetna, or maybe your emeritus patients through your Aetna contract and utilize your Aetna fees for both your Aetna patients and any of the PPOs that can funnel through that networking relationship with Aetna. Now, for over 10 years, Unitas has implemented this plan and framework for thousands of providers across the whole country and has helped pioneer representation for dentists and offices on such a large scale. Unitas can project your return on investment, or ROI, through our average results because we have done this for so long and have so many case studies that we're able to look at. So when we're looking at our projected PPO revenue increase for utilizing our services here at Unitas, we look at your annual production. So on average, a one location, one provider office sees an annual production of around $1 million. Now, as well as looking at your percentage of patients under your negotiable PPOs, it's going to be at least 50% of your annual production. So conservatively, we're looking at a negotiable production of about $500,000. That's half of this office's annual production. So based on our results that we've seen over the past 10 plus years, we see a projected PPO revenue increase on average of about 10% of our clients' negotiable production. Now, below average, we're looking at 4% increase, or above average, we're looking of about an 18% increase. So on average, an office that does $1 million in production is looking to see an projected PPO revenue increase of around $50,000 for utilizing our services here at Unitas. Now, here are some case studies here. Now, Dr. Morgan in North Carolina was able to see a projected PPO revenue increase of over $64,000 by Unitas negotiating 5 direct contracts and optimizing 2 PPO contracts. We also see results for Dr. Baker in Texas. He is looking to see an additional $79,000 in PPO revenue by utilizing our services, and they did 5 PPO negotiations and 3 PPO optimizations. And then we also see Dr. Young in Florida. They did 7 negotiated PPO contracts and 4 PPO optimizations, resulting in a projected PPO revenue increase of over $100,000 by using us here at Unitas. Now, I know this is a lot of information. You are probably feeling like information overload right now. Now, what's going to happen after you finish watching this webinar this evening is you're either going to go home, you're going to start scheduling appointments, you're going to come in tomorrow and treat patients. So, is it okay if I make you guys an offer that will help you implement your increasing your PPO revenue faster? Oh, I just skipped a page here. So, for watching our webinar this evening, we want to invite you to schedule a free 30-minute consultation with one of our sales consultants here at Unitas. We're going to review your PPO insurances, see who you guys are currently in network with, help you calculate your potential ROI for utilizing our services here at Unitas, increasing those reimbursements in one way or another, either through negotiating your direct contracts or looking at optimization opportunities by using some of those other paths of participation with your PPO contracts. We will help you calculate your potential ROI, identify which service you are best suited for here at Unitas. Plus, you're also going to receive a couple limited time bonuses here from us at Unitas. We are going to share with you our PPO provider relations master list, which is going to save you hours of sitting on hold with these PPOs. This is the list that we use with our clients here, and we reach out to them thousands of times every single month. So it's going to have each of the major PPOs, the provider relations phone number, how to get in contact with their provider relations department, and how to collect the participation of your providers and request your PPO fee schedules. That is easily a $199 value that you will receive for free by scheduling a free consultation with us here at Unitas. And you can schedule that consultation by going to www.ppoguide.com/go. So before it was just ppoguide.com. Now, if you add the /go, it'll allow you to schedule that consultation right from that specific website. You are also going to receive our e-guide, which is 35 common insurance problems and how to avoid them, which after 10 years, we've compiled our top PPO solutions to our most commonly asked questions. That's going to include downcoding, balance billing, out-of-network benefits, information changes such as tax ID, business name, key steps to adding an associate to your PPOs, and of course, more information is in our e-guide as well. So save yourself hours and hours of trying to solve these frustrating PPO related problems by getting our Unitas e-guide. And you can get that for free by scheduling a free PPO consultation again at www.ppoguide.com/go. Now, that e-guide is easily, again, a $299 value that you're going to receive for free by signing up for one of our free PPO consultations here at Unitas. Now, the last thing that you guys are going to get for scheduling that free consultation with us is going to be our fee schedule analysis tool that we use internally for our clients. So this is going to help you analyze your UCRs and list out all of your fee schedules. So are your UCR office fees priced too low? How do your reimbursements compare to other PPOs? What are your highest reimbursing contracts that you have in the practice currently? This is an easy to use online spreadsheet with automated formulas and calculations. Now, this fee schedule analysis tool is again a $500 value that you're going to be receiving for free by scheduling that PPO consultation with us here at Unitas at www.ppoguide.com/go. So just to recap, you schedule that consultation with us here at Unitas and you are going to receive the PPO evaluation, how you're currently participating with these PPOs, looking at the ROI for utilizing our services, the e-guide, which is those 35 common insurance problems, the PPO provider relations master list, PPO fee schedule analysis tool. You're going to save yourself hours and hours of time, and you're also going to see those higher PPO reimbursement rates. So again, go ahead and schedule that free PPO consultation at www.ppoguide.com/call. Now, if you have any questions, please make sure that you are putting those in the chat and we will answer those questions via email after this webinar is completed.
Awesome, Brittany. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us all tonight. We did record tonight's webinar and we'll be emailing it out within the next week or so. And we would appreciate your feedback via survey that will pop up on your screen shortly. Thank you all again and have a wonderful evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.